Welcome to Hey, We're Talking. I'm putting the microphone up to it. No, it's not. It's good. Just stream of consciousness here. I say whatever's on my mind because I'm a weirdo. Welcome to the show. I'm Scotty D, and I've got my friends here. Derek, I'm not even going to make you say who you are. And Bob, I'm not going to make you say who you are. We'll just start talking. Today, on the show, I burped. Why? I have no idea. I just had to. Today on the show, since we're talking about sports this week, we are going to do top 5 football movies.
Ooh, yeah.
Now, this is our personal football movies, but let's see if we have any kind of cross. Do you guys want to just, like, name your top 5 and then we'll discuss, like, what we have in common, what we don't have in common, or do you want to stop and, like, you know, oh, that's my favorite, too? I kind of like the idea of just shooting them all out there, and then
let's all random or just throw them out there, whatever order, and we'll discuss it.
I want Bob to go first, though, because his movie stuff is so limited. It's going to be interesting to hear what his top 5 football movies are.
Do you want them in order from 1 to 5, 5 to 1, or just throw them out there?
I think just throw them out.
5 to 1.
5 to 1. Go ahead.
5 to 1. Okay, I got 86 for number 5, just like Derek does.
86?
So here we go. Number 5 is Rudy. Number 4 is Jerry Maguire. Number 3 is Any Given Sunday. Number 2 is Friday Night Lights. Number 1 is Remember the Titans.
Ooh, Remember nice. The Titans. Okay, Derek, you go ahead.
Oh, I've never seen Rudy.
Wow!
Well, you're in my territory now.
My head exploded. Go.
I know. Whenever I was looking into this, I was compiling my list. I thought, Rudy's a big football movie, and I was like, I've never seen that one.
Oh my
They're gonna give me. I was like, I don't have to mention it, but I thought, you know what? They're gonna give me a little bit of crap. I'm gonna put that out there.
I'm not gonna give you crap. I just literally my head exploded. Go ahead.
Number 5. Y'all remember the Absent-Minded Professor and the Flubber stuff?
Yes.
Back in the 60s? All right. They did a sequel to that. It's called Son of Flubber, and they do Flubber. It's a football movie. It's like football.
It is. Go ahead, dude. That's great. That is great. Go ahead.
I wish I would have wrote these down.
Dang it, Derek.
Number 4, like the Little Giants. Remember that?
I can't believe you said it. Yes. Go ahead.
Little Giants.
It's a good one.
How about The Blind Side?
Okay.
Well, there's like The Blind Side, Remember the Titans. I like those
are
kinds.
Go ahead. Okay.
2, Friday Night Lights. Yes. And number 1 is The Waterboy.
Oh, boy. Okay. I wrote that one down, and I was just like, oh.
I thought about it. I'm like,
I mean, when it came out, I did laugh my butt off when it came out. But the longer it got away from when it actually came out, the more I was just like, oh my gosh, this is terrible.
Foosball is the devil.
Yeah,
all right,
Go
ahead.
Okay, here are mine. I don't have them in order, but I've got a couple that are different than you guys. Probably I'm going to go at my number 5. And again, this was because based on the time, and it was fun for me. Varsity Blues. Okay. Number 5.
That almost made my list. It really did.
Me too.
Varsity Blues was, it's not that I didn't like Friday Night Lights, but Varsity Blues was more the one that I gravitated towards because it had funny stuff in it too. And boobies. Right. Did I just say boobies? Yeah, there's boobies in it. Yeah, okay. After that, there's a movie with Keanu Reeves that is in called The Replacements.
Yeah.
Great movie. That is okay. Gene Hackman's in it. It's perfect. Yeah, okay. The Replacements. This is going to be one that a lot of people will not have on their list, but for some reason, if this movie pops up on TV, I can't stop watching it. It's called Draft Day. Have you ever heard of Draft Day?
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Kevin Costner is like the GM of the Browns, and he's taking over. I won't go into all the details, but it's good. It's a good movie. All right. Then this is going to be tough. I'm probably going to go number 2 is Rudy. because when I saw that one, I just remember being like, oh, God, Rudy, you're the best. And then last, probably one of the greatest movies of my time. I can remember just loving this movie so much. Is Jerry Maguire. Great movie. Just love Jerry Maguire. Tidwell, the best. I mean, Cuba Gooding Jr. in that movie is spectacular.
Yep.
Great movie. All right.
I haven't seen that one.
What?
It's worth seeing. It's got some of the most memorable lines in it.
It's so good. Show me the money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff.
I'm aware of the it's a cultural milestone for sure.
Now here's a couple of
I don't think I've gotten around to it.
Honorable mentions you have, Scott?
Yeah, I have some that none of us talked about. Actually, Derek hit one of them, Little Giants. That is a movie that is actually really doggone good. It's got
Rick
the guy
Moranis.
from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Rick Moranis, and it's good. It's good because his brother isn't it his brother is like the real good football coach in the town, and all the kids want to play on but all these really bad reject kids that nobody wants want to play football, and Rick Moranis decides he's going to let them play, and it's great. It's a good movie. All right, Friday Night Lights. You guys mentioned the movie. The TV show was one of my favorite TV shows ever. So if you're going to if you want to invest a huge amount of time in football-related watching, Friday Night Lights, the TV show, is one of the best TV shows ever. Okay, The Last Boy Scout.
Well, I did want to
go ahead
before we move on. I want to, because of Friday Night Lights. That is set. And I haven't seen this show, but the movie is set right here in West Texas, like 40 to 60 miles away from here. I've been to the stadium. Did a lot of band competitions at the stadium that's featured in the movie, so I'm quite familiar with the whole setting. And I think that coached at Permian High School, Billy Bob Thornton's character. I think he left, and I think he's back, and he might have left again, but I think he's back. He's back with the school.
But Derek, you can tell everybody too, football is like just completely crazy. High school football is a huge deal in Texas.
Absolutely. It is. I mean, I still go to my alma mater's football games. My son was really big into playing football. He's in 8th grade now, but I had to pull him from football because he is susceptible to concussion. And with all the stuff coming out about it, he suffered a pretty nasty concussion earlier in the football season a few months ago, and I told him no more football, and he's very disappointed, but he gets it.
Yeah, my son is same age. He's in 8th grade now. He played football for like 3 or 4 years. When he was doing it like, I don't know, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, something like that. And he wound up with 2 concussions. And when your son's looking at you, but he's not looking at you, it gives you a totally different mindset. And he's still mad at me today that going into high school, I'm not going to let him play football. But I haven't seen the movie Concussion yet with Will Smith, and that's on my list to see. But that's based on a true story. And as we look at a lot of former NFL players, even Bo Jackson recently came out and said that he never would have played football if he knew he would have just stuck with baseball if he knew the repercussions.
The thing that I think is changing in the pros is they're being way more cautious now than they were. But I think part of the thing that ends up happening, and we don't want to get too serious here, but when you're in those lower levels of football, like high school and pee-wee and all that kind of stuff, you just don't have the control over your body that you need to have. And kids just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's just like, at some point you got to learn, first of all, how to hit somebody, which I know they're trying to teach. But then secondly, you got to start maybe breaking people up into like body size and stuff too. I mean, I know that sounds weird, but it's like, there's kids that are so small playing against these humongous dudes. And it's like, oh gosh.
Yeah. And my son's concussions, one of them was helmet to helmet by a different player. And the other one was in practice, helmet to helmet by one of his own players. and it's all about, discipline, kids just not understanding the importance of it, and they did a good job stressing it, but I still don't think they understand how important that is. So that was a tough decision because I love seeing my son play football, but I always tell him, I love your brain more than I love seeing you play football.
Exactly.
Yeah, and a final word on concussions. My son, he's very practical minded, he was really upset when I said, you're not playing football anymore. He decided he was going to try to convince me. He was going to do research and try to find some scientific reasons why I'm being ridiculous. And he wound up, he read all the news articles, all the studies, and he wound up convincing himself that, you know what, probably a good idea that he's not playing football. So.
That's a good idea, because I know at some point when as my son becomes a freshman, he's going to start talking about that again. And I will use that.
Son, do a little research project for me.
It's like, you know what? You convince me you should be in football with basically give me information on concussions and what your chances are getting a concussion. And if you convince me, then I'll let you play football.
Now, I know you guys are a little younger than me, but I will tell you this. The number of times that I most likely was concussed and had no idea as a kid, nobody cared about that crap when I was a kid. I mean, I think one time I was like 4 or 5 years old. I was on stilts, and I looked back at my dad and I go, I can do it all by myself. And he let go of me, and I promptly went backwards and smashed my head off the pavement. And they were like, don't go to sleep, don't go to sleep. So that was the one thing. But I got hit in the head with an aluminum baseball bat, and then woke up a few minutes later. I got hit in the head with a 2x4 by my brother climbing up the side of a tree. I mean, I ran into a parked car when I was riding my bike no-handed and looking at this girl. I literally rammed into the car and bashed my head off the hood. So maybe I'm going to have some problems when I get older. But I've definitely had some concussions. There's no doubt.
Maybe
not from
you're
football.
Gonna have problems when you're older.
Shut.
Kind of thinking some of those things already set in.
All right.
Yes, Scott. You know, Scott, you gave me a look or like a little ugh, when I mentioned The Blind Side. Do you not like The Blind Side?
It's okay.
I've never seen that one. And another one that I saw on my list that I've not seen, maybe you guys know, Brian's Song.
I tried to watch Brian's Song one night because it's a really famous football movie. I've tried to watch it one time, and I was just kind of like, okay, I can't. I think I told you guys before, my movie watching, like anything earlier than the 80s, I'm just kind of like, I'm not a big fan of.
We Are Marshall was pretty good. I remember that one.
I was hoping it was going to be a lot more than it was. It didn't end up being as good as I wanted it to be. One of the other ones that I was mentioning, too, that I know everybody has probably seen is The Last Boy Scout with Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans. Do you remember that? No? What?
I don't.
And then there's a movie that there's an old movie that they remade. It had Burt Reynolds in it, The Longest Yard, and then Adam Sandler remade it. The only other one that I thought of that has football in it, but just like briefly, but I always remember it, is The Dark Knight Rises. Do you remember when he like blows up the football stadium? Yeah. I don't know why I always think of that.
I thought you were going to say The Game Plan with The Rock and that little girl.
Oh, yeah. The Rock
Which was actually
The Rock was in another football movie where he coached a team of juvie kids, like these juvenile delinquents, to play football. And it was halfway decent, too. See, there's there's so many good sports movies.
But we haven't seen a really good football movie in a while, though.
It's been a while. I mean, I told you need to see Draft Day. Watch Draft Day because you would like it. There's not a lot of football action, but it's like a behind the scenes on the day of the draft, and it's pretty fun.
I want to watch Little Giants tonight.
You know what part gets me?
Maguire. You'd like it.
Yeah, watch Jerry Maguire too, because it's phenomenal. Okay, so the Little Giants, you know what always gets me, Derek, is remember the one kid, his dad is never home, and they run that play because the dad's at the end of the end zone.
Yeah.
And he goes, and he runs to his dad. I was just like, oh, God. And I cried like a little baby. I'm so lame. I'm a little bit emotional. I don't know if we've mentioned this on the show.
It's a good scene. It's a good scene.
And then
masterpiece.
That kid takes like what was it? It's like the stuff plop plop fizz fizz or what a relief it is. What are those things called?
Alka-Seltzer.
He puts all that Alka-Seltzer in his mouth to look like he's crazy, and he's like to scare the kid. It's pretty funny. All right, Little Giants. Who knew Little Giants was going to be the one that we were like, yeah. So we're at that point where we need to just wrap it up. So let's wrap it up. Make sure you tell your friends about the show, invite them to listen so you guys can laugh about how weird I am at your job, or whenever you get together, you can be like, oh, that's Scott. What a dork. He cried at Little Giants. Check us out at heywe'retalking.com. Email us at heywe'retalking@gmail.com. Go to Facebook, like our page, Hey We're Talking. Go to iTunes and give us a review on our podcast and tell people about it. Hey We're Talking. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Derek has a very serious look on his face because he's like, it's time to end the show. Oh, there you go. Now he's happy. Thanks again, guys. We appreciate you. Bye.
You got it.